I wish I knew. There are a few things I wish I knew before I built my first aquarium. Today, I'll be sharing 5 of those things with you so that you can enjoy every step of your journey. Number 1. Don't trim all your stem plants. Stem plants are a planted aquarium's treasure. They grow fast and absorb lots of nutrients from the water column. Most fertilizer brands will tell you how much to add on a weekly basis. So, unless you are really into chemistry, you'll probably just follow the instructions in the bottle. But what happens when the plant mass decreases? When you decide it's time for a trimming session, what happens then? Do you still need the same amount of fertilizers? Well, no, you don't, since you have less grown plants absorbing nutrients. At that point, if you continue to fertilize following the instructions on the bottle, it will likely be too much, and the tank could be filled with algae in a week. What I like to do to avoid this is to trim only half of the stem plants on each trimming session. That way, I don't need to be guessing how much to decrease fertilizer dosing. I can just keep fertilizing the same amount, and the difference in plant mass won't be as much as to cause an impact. Number 2. You can have red stem plants even without low nitrogen levels. I spend so much time trying to get stem plants to that bright red coloration, especially Rotala Ishra, which is known to achieve a very unique red tone. The problem was that to do this, I needed nitrogen levels to be below 10 ppm, and that is not easy to accomplish. First, you need a very good active substrate with lots of nutrients, because these plants will need to get most of their nutrition through the root system. Then you need to fertilize extremely small doses. The idea behind it is that since there'll be barely any nutrients in the water, plants will grow very slow and be exposed to the light for a longer period of time. They'll then produce that red pigmentation to protect themselves from that light. The problem is that any leftover food or fish waste will turn into nitrates. I found it very difficult to achieve, until I found this plant. This is Rotala Narrow Leaf SP Red, and you will get this beautiful red color even with normal nitrate levels, 40 ppm and more. I wish I knew this a long time ago. And guys, if you are enjoying this video, you'll probably like other videos in my channel. So like and subscribe for more weekly content just like this. Number 3. This is not a diseased shrimp. When I built my first aquarium, I didn't know that shrimps molted. So after a few days, I found one of these moltings. And guys, it looked just like a shrimp. It was scary. I thought I lost one of the 2 shrimps that I had just bought. Even after I did some research and figured out it was molting, I still spend so much time looking for my shrimp to make sure that they were alive. If you are a new shrimp keeper and you find one of these, don't be afraid. It's a normal part of a shrimp's growing process. As they develop, their skin becomes too small for them, so they get rid of it and grow a new one. They are very shy throughout this process because they are unprotected. But once they are done growing their new skin, they'll be back to their normal self. An adult shrimp will molt every month or so. Young shrimps do it more often. Number 4. Bettas are not that mean. My first Betta tank was a failure. I knew they needed warm water and that they were pretty aggressive towards other fish. So I set up a planted tank with only my Betta and 2 snails. As you can imagine, with warm water and barely any algae eaters, the aquarium got overtaken by algae immediately. It was a big failure. For my next Betta tank, I decided to do a little more research. And I found out that these guys are not that mean. As long as you don't keep them with other territorial fish, you can have schooling fish, algae eaters, and scavengers together with them with no issues. Take this guy for example. He's been in this tank for almost 6 months now, with ammonotrems, otocinclus, and nerite snails. And he's been the best roommate they could ever have. Number 5. You can use super glue in a planted aquarium. That was a surprise. I thought something like super glue would leach some kind of chemical into the water, but it doesn't. Once it's dry, it becomes waterproof. That's why it's used as a bonding agent for rocks, wood, and even plants. Take epiphytes as an example. They shouldn't be planted in the soil, so instead we use gel-type superglue to attach it to the hardscape. Some brands even sell gel types that will dry once you apply water to them. When creating the hardscape, if you use a piece of paper towel and apply some liquid superglue to it, it creates a solid waterproof bond that will allow you to create stunning structures. If you use this trick, look for the smoke. It means it's working. And those were 5 things that I wish I knew before I built my first aquarium. Let me know what you wish you had known before you built your first aquarium. I hope this video was helpful. See you all next week.